Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and I just got paired up playing a 3-2 game. Let's try e4. Okay, Sicilian. Probably going to enter something sharp. Or not. Okay, so actually I have a little bit of experience with this. The last standard game I played was this same position. Okay, but this time with d5 instead of knight to f6. So different pawn structure for sure. Playing against an isolated d pawn soon. Let's just castle. I'll take on c5 only after the bishop has moved. Or at least I'll only consider doing that after the bishop has moved. Rook to e1, some candidate moves coming up. Rook to e1, bishop g5. I'd welcome a dark square bishop exchange so I could rely upon a piece on d4 a bit easier. Let's see what they come up with. Oh, h6. That's interesting. Huh, I guess they don't want bishop g5. Okay, so I guess on rook to e1, bishop e6. Should probably still do this. It's an open file. Okay. And, I wonder about bishop e3, bishop d6. Let's go for, Let's go with bishop f4, actually. Let's see if they take. I think that would just help me. Knight d4. Hitting the knight on c6 and the bishop. Okay. I'm going to play this a little bit aggressive. I may be giving up my bishop pair. I'm going to try to maybe exploit the king position, still being in the center. Giving up my bishop now. Don't know how big a deal this should be, or this will be. We're going to find out. Let's take. And let's play knight here. I'm preparing knight b3, and then maybe sinking into this square. King is still in the center. I don't know if castling queenside would be a good option for them. I could play takes, knight b3. Let's try this. Giving up my center point. But I have a pretty direct follow-up. Knight d4. Or bishop here. Change of plan. Let's play on these dark squares. c5 and d4. Really good homes for my knights. Let's pre-move this. Their king will probably end up stepping up to d6. I'm not sure. Ooh. How are they castling? Let's start with this. It seems very annoying, no? Could drop back if knight e4 or d7 to a3. The bishop on a3, by the way, would be conveniently there to defend b2 in case there's some pressure. Let's come all the way back. I'm not missing any forks. d2 covered. Knight c5. Knight here. I think I like this move. Yeah, this one, so that I could prepare to give this knight a kick. Hitting the bishop. My knight will be in a pin, but I think this should be alright. They have to address this move first. I should be better here. Knight c5 coming. Dark square control. I have a dark square bishop. And an enormous knight here on d4. Knight c5. Yeah, probably. So they're going to plop a knight right into that c4 square, I think. Maybe not. Actually, b3. This bishop is tough to challenge. Okay, they have knight b7, but that's super awkward. Maybe I play king here. Improve the king position a little bit. All right. Do I really have to go anywhere with my bishop? Let's go for this. b5 I'm considering. b5, a5. I'm going to do this. I could eventually force their hand on a5, a3. If they prepare this doubling stuff on the a file, I have knight b3. Maybe or no, actually knight a3 and then, okay, change of plan. I was going to say knight b3 and then back the bishop up knight c5. That may be an idea right now. I want to get my knight to c5. He's more, he'll be more of a pain. This also prevents the break a5. g4 might be an idea just to take away some squares. On knight here, probably bishop d4. Should I play a4? Let's take away that f5 square. I think it's useful. Less than 20. Let's advance a little bit. My knight's unprotected, but any pawn move I take. Bishop d4, knight c6 is still an idea. Maybe right now? Not quite. Let's do this. Knight here is a little bit annoying. Let's go right here. And bishop back and knight c5. Ooh, I better get out of that stuff. Oh. Oh, I'm in trouble. That's just a fork. Oh, that was silly. There was also bishop c2 threatened there. Knight here just wins material, so they should probably take the rook here. I have to try to keep material on. It's very difficult to even do that. I guess drop the bishop back. Knight c5. I'm gonna try to hold this with the dark squares. Knight c5 is a threat, but it should be parried quite easily. That was not good at all. Okay. The only thing I have is dark square control, but that should not be enough at all. Tough uphill battle here coming up. Yeah, it's the right way to do it. Open the files. And I don't have anything to bite at. I'm not sure where my knight belongs. I can't really move my bishop because it enters on e2. They're low on time, just like me. I don't know how to make progress. I kind of have to keep my bishop sitting. All I could really do is go back and forth here. Okay, maybe there's an opportunity for knight d4. It's probably an improvement for the knight. Let's give a check. I don't have anything. Just trying to hold on tight to these dark squares. I have to keep my pawn sitting right here to watch over these light squares. This might be holding. It's an interesting fortress if that is the case. This dark square controlled. And this square, actually. Okay, let's watch over c5. I want to be able to take with my bishop. Let's go back. This is very tough. Okay, maybe I have to go somewhere else with my knight. This dropping, maybe? Okay, I can't move my knight now. Knights are tricky. I'm not threatening to take yet, though. Maybe now I am. Not anymore. Whew, this one's taking forever. Okay, maybe get my knight back somewhere to c5. Yeah, here comes the break. Yeah, they're getting the break in there. Okay. Yep, that's an accomplishment for sure. Well, I could take with my knight, maybe. Try to do this. Keep it closed somewhat. Put my bishop here. The rook's going to get active again. And they could give check. Alright, I have to try something maybe in this direction. The rook is entering. Maybe not. Just banking some time. Okay. My knight... don't know how to improve him. Okay, that's another accomplishment right there. Bishop check. Reposition my knight. I could have taken the pawn right there. Oh. I wasn't expecting them to do that move. Okay, I could take this guy. Probably have to get pushing. How do I stop that pawn? Let's go here first. Let's go. I guess here. Don't know. Yeah. King right here, I don't have anything. Guess here. Yay, this game is taking forever. Uphill climb. Oh, well that's simple enough. Or is this a... No, this isn't a draw, is it? What rook pawn do they have? Yeah, that was actually simple enough. And they could actually just push right here. Yep. Pawn push. That's time to resign. Knight d3. That was very difficult to play off the increment like that. As usual. But very interesting game. I'm pretty sure I was better at one point when I had the control over these dark squares. That bishop g6 move really rattled me because there were dual threats, knight d3 and bishop to c2. So I wasn't sure what move to play. There had to have been something. Initially, I wanted to play king g3. I think I was ready to... You could see that during the game, king g3. But then they had bishop c2. There was a better way to reorganize the pieces, and I'm sure the computer will come up with some suggestions. So we'll see what the suggestions are for both of us, because I think white also could have improved, or excuse me, black could have improved at one point in that middle game there. But we'll have a look, see what we can take away from this one. Okay, Stockfish, show us the way. How can we both improve? So we entered, well, it wasn't quite in IQP. It was more of like a little hanging pawn structure. It wasn't like a hole on the d4 square that it turned out. It didn't turn out to be a hole on the d4 square in this game with how it played out. h6 was a bit curious, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not a big fan of that. It's already pointing out knight e5. Piling up on that knight, huh? Rook e1 can't be bad. Bishop e6, bishop f4. Let's have a look at it, this move, knight e5. Here, breaking the pin, then rook e1, setting up discoveries. Knight takes, queen takes, and then taking here, I guess, trying to hang on to that guy. Castle, bishop e3. Knight e4, knight d2, knight takes. Okay, so they're getting the pawn back, but I'll be able to play against their, there's some structural imbalance. Well, I have the bishop pair. Also, bishop pair and playing against this structure, IQP. Okay, so knight e5 right away was another interesting move. Rook e1, going with the takes right away, queen a4. Okay, doesn't seem to have too big a problem with this. Yeah, there is an edge here. Certainly a pull on the white end. They want to go right in for knight b to d4. That was my initial thought. Then I'm like, you know what? I want to get rid of the dark square bishop so I could get to these squares. Okay. So far, pawn plus. Knight f to d4, not even reacting. Oh yeah, I'm just seeing it now. If takes, this bishop is hit a ton of times. It's falling, I'll get a pawn. Okay, what did I do? I moved backwards. Okay. Knight d4, king d7, and then f3. Even in this case. Oh, because that's with check, and still I'm getting something here. Didn't see that. Okay, I went back. Bishop there. Still holding an edge here for white. Quite a bit. It doesn't really like that. Bishop back here, returning. I imagine they would avoid the exchange again, no? Oh, okay, takes here, bishop d4. There had to be something. It's very difficult to come up with it, though. It's time control. These dark squares, they're just both pieces. It's like this bishop stands good here, here, the knight here, here. Two pieces have two very good squares to work with, so there's some way to coordinate them well. Interesting. Okay. So after the minor pieces, a pair of minor pieces come off, there is it's easier for black to play. Only like a slight edge here. King there. b4. Yeah, I would have been fine with this. You know, there's ideas of rook to b1, rook b6. This knight is really well anchored on d4. It's the typical good knight versus bad bishop scenario. So they don't take. And I don't know how well I voiced it during the game, but I was thinking after this here, if this type of idea to try and gain control of the A file, I had in mind knight b3, but I was mistaken with that because I was thinking they would have to make a capture like this due to the pressure on a5, but they have the a5 secure. If this knight was in a different position, this is a nice, if you could just envision the knight on c7, this idea to resolve the tension, putting pressure on a5 with knight b3, forcing, let's just say, a capture, then they're not going to have clear access to the A file. They're not going to get that rook activity so easily. There's a capture. Again, this is envisioning a knight on c7 where he doesn't have control of a5. I could contest the file like this. He's inconvenienced for a bit, but I'm still holding on the dark squares. Yeah. Okay, well, the knight wasn't on c7, but anyhow, that was my idea. That's what I was thinking, and it was a poor thought, because it wasn't there. Knight was defending a5. Okay, knight b3. Yeah, what should I have done here? So this is clearly where it turns, just the one move threat here. Knight d3, what should I have done here? Bishop d4. Oh, good grief. Knight here with check gets out of any forks here on c2. Okay. I didn't see that. I didn't see moving the bishop out of the way and getting out of this stuff with the check and king here, and then I could meet the threat. This knight is doing so many things. Oh. Watching over d3, pressure on a6. Okay, so after this, knight d3, they're up the exchange. And it's still tough to crack, clearly. You could see it with the evaluation. Only because I have that dark square control. And, well, this game goes nearly 100 moves. I won't be going over every move from here, but eventually, as soon as that c4 break got in successfully, and another file opened up, and that rook got active, that's where it was too much. Couldn't defend. Let's just go a little bit faster from here. It may pop up. It just did. It popped up as 0, but that's because it's thinking, oh, it was repetition, draw, but that's not really a true assessment. I'm just checking real quick here to see if I missed any forks along the way. Any tactical shots for me. And so far, no. There really wasn't much I could do. I didn't really see an active plan. I mean, not until the very end where I had an opportunity to take on d5 when the bishop left from the c4 square. But like right here, I could take on d5, but even so, it's still, black's in the driver's seat. Knight takes here, rook takes h4, past h-pawn, king takes here. Okay, maybe... No, they're giving a check. Running right into this. Yikes. I can't see myself playing this move. Here, takes, king g5. Maybe somehow I could hold a draw if my bishop gets here. Okay. But this rook is probably really quick to get here. Yeah, there's a fork. Okay. Yeah, I can't see myself going for that variation into going into a discovered check. But knight c2, yeah. Nothing else was missed as soon as that h-pawn gets rolling. And then, yeah, I didn't even... That's just very clean technique. Simplify, give the material back. I'm tethered to the defense of that h-pawn. The knight he absolutely hates defending against that, and I had nothing. But yeah, missed opportunity to find a good coordination is the big thing with this one. Working into those c5 and d4 squares. Maybe I should look into having the knight on c5. I know just the other day when streaming I was pointing out these ideal squares for a knight: c4, c4, c5, f4, f5. C5 square. It's a fantastic square for a knight. I should have gone there, but I don't know. Had my bishop there. It seemed like it was functioning well on that square as well, but in the end I didn't find a good way to coordinate those pieces on those squares, and I missed that bishop d4 move when they were threatening that fork on d3 and the fork on c2. But anyhow, as usual, feel free to leave any comments in the comments section below to this video. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.